What's up, guys? Dom here with Quick Improvements. Today I just wanted to talk about some of my paint setups and how I go about painting and the different kind of setups you can use depending on what you're doing. So obviously we're painting in basements. We have a lot of big walls. All the walls are going to be the same color. So I'm using a little bit different setup than I'd use for a smaller project, but I'll walk you through all that. So we'll start with cut bucket. I got two different setups going right now. Just the typical white bucket, brush. I also like having a magnet on there so I can put my brush right on there. Also just choose to hold it. Either way works, not a big deal. The magnet's kind of nice. Also has a paint can opener right there. So it's kind of all in one. Additionally, you'll see I have my mini roller here. I always keep a mini roller with me when I'm painting. Because what you like to do is cut in and then get your mini roller as close to it. Give yourself a bigger space to work with. It helps kind of fan out the brush line so that when you come back and roll, you just roll up to that. It all kind of looks as one. There's no difference between where you use your brush and where you use your roller. Just give you a smooth, consistent finish. So in here, I just got some ceiling paint. We're just finishing up with that. Got my screen in here. So basically just load this up, wipe it off on the screen, ready to go. Alternatively, Purdy makes one. It's a little more expensive, but no screen needed. You can just wipe your mini roller right on there, but same deal. This has a magnet all in one. Super easy, especially if you're doing ladder work. This one's a little nicer, it's a little smaller, easier to hang on to, but both work. Everyone uses a different method. I go back and forth, it just depends on the project. Another good tip to do is with your brushes, keep the covers, wash it out, put it back in there. It'll just keep your brushes, protect them a little bit as they're just going back in the box or wherever you keep your brushes. So it's a good rule of thumb. Keep these, wash them, put them back in here. It'll just keep that, protect them a little bit better. So then we'll move on to rolling. So this is a bigger project. So I got my big bucket here. I can put a couple gallons of paint in there. And then I have my 18-inch roller for bigger projects like this, especially for the ceilings and the primer. I usually cruise through with the 18-inch roller. Whenever I can, I usually try and use the 18-inch roller. You can just move a little quicker. But again, that's why we also like to have the mini roller, because you can get in the tight spots with the mini roller, come back with the 18-inch roller, keep moving. So when we're cutting in, we use the mini roller around everything. So then when we use the 18-inch, we can use a bigger roller. We don't have to get in tight spots. Additionally, if you're just using like a regular size 9-inch roller, sometimes I use just a 5-gallon bucket. Again, screen liner, 9-inch roller fits right in there. You can just move the bucket around with you, going right from there. Sometimes that's nice if you got, if you have enough paint and you say you're using a 5 gallons worth of paint, you can pour some out to put in your cut buckets, have the paint in there, just go right from there. Save yourself on a tray liner, and just kind of cruise along that way. Some guys like to paint on a 5-gallon bucket too, because you can cut right out of it. You can basically do all in one. So if I'm doing a smaller project where say I'm just priming, sometimes I opt for this setup and I'll pour out a little bit of either the paint or whatever the product is into my cut bucket. I'll do this setup right out of it. Then that way, you can cut and roll right out of the same thing. Additionally, for 9-inch rollers, you can just go with your traditional tray. I like this one. I have metal ones. I sometimes even opt just to go for the plastic one-use ones. This one, you can pour right into it and clean it out. You can buy tray liners for it. I usually opt for the tray liners. It's a little bit more expensive because you're buying a new one every time, but it just keeps it clean. Then when you're done, take it out, throw it out, you're good to go. Obviously, another thing I really like is these paintbrush covers. And my biggest pet peeve is when someone's painting and they just leave their brush there sitting out and in the open to the elements. I just think it's good practice to take your brush. Even as I'm sitting here, I have a brush open. Keep one of these on hand. I have a couple of them, I always have a few. Put it in there. You don't have to worry about it drying. You can even leave it overnight if you want. I think it's a good practice to wash your brushes out every day, especially when you're done using them. Or if you're leaving for the day and coming back tomorrow, I just think it's good just to wash them out, clean them out so nothing dries. The more time you spend taking care of your brushes, the longer your equipment's gonna last. Even with the rollers too, it's good to wash those out when you're done with them, because again, paint builds up on them and then they kind of become useless. So the longer, if you treat your equipment with, you take care of it, you clean it and take care of it, that stuff's gonna last a long time. So yeah, the other thing too is always having a good roller stick. I got 3 or 4 different sizes. I like the short one the most for doing a lot of interior stuff because this is like a 2 to 4 foot one, but for the most part, unless we're starting doing vaulted ceilings, the 2 to 4 foot kind of reaches everything. It's small, it's lightweight, it's easy to handle and maneuver. For this one, we have 9 foot ceilings. So when I was doing the ceilings, I broke out the 6 foot one. It's just all preference. It's good to have a little bit of longer one just because you get better leverage, but sometimes just the ease and lightweight of that one and being smaller to maneuver just makes it a little easier. So that's how I like to set up for painting. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to me below in the comments. Otherwise, follow us along with us on YouTube, as well as search quick_improvements on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook to follow along and see more of the projects and upcoming things. And looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Thanks.